on that as well. The key messaging here is we're going to take those and we're going to rotate them 90 degrees once again, make them much more efficient than what they are, all leading up to a much more efficient flow through those particular choke points, but still allowing for technology that TSA may require in the coming years and to make sure that we do it smartly. Our concessions, this is a great graphic that you're going to see here. And let me go ahead and interject at this point. I've got a virtual reality video that I'm going to share with you at the conclusion of my presentation that really kind of ties all this together. But once again, looking at this particular slide, you can see that we want to create really concession groups, if you will, at these passenger circulation points. The Skylink stations are very nice for that. We want to enhance our revenue generation. We want to create a sense of place, and then open it up with a lot of that natural lighting to the extent that we possibly can. Now, a lot of folks are anticipating the construction start that Jeff alluded to really at the end of February when the Super Bowl concludes, and he's absolutely correct. That's when you're going to see a really significant construction program getting underway. What a lot of people really don't quite understand is that we're already about $100 million into this project. We've already launched in a series of enabling projects that clear the way for us to really get started in late February of next year. We're out there already relocating a lot of the jet bridges at Terminal A and C. We're creating interim office spaces in Terminal A up on the 3rd level. So as we're out there displacing the American workers and their administrative staff, they've got a place to be able to go work while we're in there, getting the terminals out and those kinds of things. A lot of this work is already underway, and we're very, very nicely positioned to get underway February of next year, as I alluded to. Now, the next steps, once again, at the beginning of the presentation, I kind of touched on the master plan update. We're actually 90% through with this particular phase. This is the programming and schematic design. A lot of great work has gone into really making a lot of the hard decisions that are necessary at this time. What mechanical systems to use, how big is our electrical grids going to be, what's our plumbing going to look like. All that's being vetted out as we speak right now. So once we roll into design here very quickly later on this summer, it's a very nice mechanical process of just generating those design documents so we can put them out to bid for construction bidding. Now, the elements of the programming schematic design is what you see here. I won't go through all of these, but you can tell from this it's a very significant effort. We've spent a lot of time getting our arms around this particular program, and it's really, quite honestly, paid a lot of dividends to date. And once again, we think we're making a lot of good decisions at this point. Now, design will get started in earnest later on this summer. We've actually begun our design activities for Terminal A. The board was gracious enough to allow me about $10 million worth of design fees at the last board meeting. Jacobs Engineering, who's going to be doing our design services for A and C, has already been given a notice to proceed, and so they're fully underway now, beginning those design services for Terminal A. The construction, I want to spend a little bit of time on this slide. Once again, Jeff and Ken kind of alluded to what that might look like at the 30,000-foot level. What I can share with you is on a very macro level, we will get underway February of next year. Probably said that about 20 times already, so I apologize, but it's important. We're going to begin in the A section of Terminal A, and we anticipate every time we take down one of those sections, and we're going to proceed with our construction section by section, it should take us anywhere from about 14 to 15 months. So we'll start at Terminal A, Section A. Once we get that completed, we'll go on to Terminal A, Section B, and then Terminal A, Section C, all following a linear path, if you will, across Terminal A. Now, each one of the terminals will have a separate construction start. So once again, Terminal A, Section A will begin early next year. 9 months later after that, we'll take down the first section in Terminal E, and then 9 months later to 12 months later, we'll take down the first section of Terminal B. So it's very conceivable in about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, we'll have the equivalent of one terminal spread across 3 sections or 3 areas down for a major renovation as it relates to the work that we need to do. So very complicated project. That's why we're spending the time that we're spending right now to get it all vetted out from a schedule perspective. We've worked very, very closely with our major stakeholders, our airlines, our airport department, Zenola and her folks. Anybody that may be impacted by this particular project has participated in the programming and schematic design. And then last but not least, what you see here, DFW continues to remain committed to the opportunities that this might bring to the North Texas region. You can tell that in the past year alone, MWBEs have earned $150 million just in concession sales at DFW Airport. We recognize that, we appreciate that, and we're working very, very hard to ensure that we can remain a viable airport, a viable business for you folks, but still get in there and go do the things that we need to do. And as I promised, I believe this is the virtual reality video.
Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, the economic engine for North Texas, opened for business in 1974. Now, almost 40 years later, we are about to embark on a major terminal development and renovation program, which is aimed at relifing our terminal infrastructure. We're making modifications that will improve the operational efficiency for our airline stakeholders while increasing the revenues generated through our concessions program. Working within the structural boundaries of the existing facilities, our terminal development program will enhance the entire passenger experience, from the parking of automobiles to the boarding of aircraft. We have worked with our air carriers and stakeholders to develop a fiscally responsible program that will accomplish a set of mutual goals and objectives. The $1.87 billion program will start in Terminal A shortly after the Super Bowl in February 2011. While the majority of the program cost involves the replacement of electrical, air conditioning, and heating, plumbing, and fire protection systems, it also includes the installation of a new technology backbone and security system. As a passenger, you will see improved vestibules at each of 3 sections in the terminals, which will serve as landmarks into the terminal passenger ticketing and security checkpoint areas. Passenger processing lobbies will reflect the latest in technology and passenger processing applications, which will respond to changes in airline ticketing procedures. The security checkpoints will be rotated to accommodate full-body scanning equipment, as well as being adequately sized to process passenger demand. Concessions will be relocated to optimize passenger contact, particularly at the Skylink stations. Wayfinding and access to Skylink stations will be enhanced through reorganization of adjacent hold rooms and concessionaire configurations. Materials used in the program will conform to the latest in sustainable development guidelines. Technology integration will allow for the installation of electronic advertising and video walls, which can be programmed with variable messaging. Passengers exiting the building will leave through the enhanced security vestibules into baggage claim areas. New high-capacity flow-through elevators will be used to access the lower-level curbside, where DFW ambassadors will be stationed to assist passengers with their ground transportation needs.
And with that, that concludes my presentation as it relates to the airport's terminal development program. I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody may have with respect to the work that we're going to be doing. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.